and justice for all.
Good evening. Welcome to Community Board 4's meeting. I'm the chair, Lou Walker. Christian Cassino could not be here tonight. He is not feeling well. So the district manager is not here tonight, and we will move on. Now we'll do the roll call. Please listen for your name.
Karen Abreu, Priscilla Carro, Giancarlo Castagno, Lucy Cerezo Scully, Chao Chun Chen,
Here.
Linda Corral,
Here.
Erica Cruz, Judith DeAndrea,
Here.
Maria Elena Giampino,
Here.
Kristen Gonzalez,
Here.
Jennifer Gutierrez, James Lisa, Salvatore Lombrado, Patricia J. Martin, Matthew McCory,
Here.
Rovinia McCowan, Edgar Moya,
Here.
Ruby Mohammed,
Here.
Sandra Munoz, Gurdip Singh Narula,
Yes.
Georgina Oliver,
Right here.
Alexandra Owens,
Here.
Alexa Ponce,
Here.
Ashley Reed, Oscar Rios, Neil Roman, Clara Salas,
Here.
Gigi Salvador, Lucy Sherrero,
Here.
A. Red Sevilla,
Here.
Malika Shabazz,
Here.
Alton Derek Smith, Gregory Spock,
Here.
Diwan Tarek, Marcelo Testa, Damon Vargas, Louis Walker,
Here.
Rosa Wong, Minwen Yang, Lester Youngblood. We have a
Okay, we have a quorum. Let's move on. Having received the minutes of the last meeting, Clara?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the January meeting as presented.
It's actually, I found an error.
Okay.
So it said Alexa Ponce when you had asked about recommendations for this year. It's actually Jennifer Gutierrez who made that, comment, like that we should have some meetings in Elmhurst and some in Corona.
Okay.
We just have the name wrong.
Okay, so with that correction,
I don't know what page it is, but it was towards the end. It was the end of the meeting.
we'll make a note of it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other corrections found or needed? Okay, I need a second to,
I'll second it.
Ruby seconds it, Ruby Mohammed. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes have passed with the correction noted. For the chairperson's report tonight, I'm going to move along and not do it. I'll make a transportation report later on in the meeting tonight, and that'll be it. The district manager is not here, so we will move on and ask Captain Ventry to please speak. Thank you.
How are you? Good evening. I'll be a little short tonight. Go over the crime numbers for the last 4 weeks. The 110 precinct has seen a downward trend, 84 versus 102 for last year. Rapes decreased by 2, 3 versus 5. Robberies decreased by 8, 10 versus 18. Felony assaults, we had an increase, 19 versus 14. We saw an increase in domestic violence. Burglaries decreased 5 versus 11. Grand larcenies, we saw an increase by 1, 44 versus 43. And GLAs, 3 versus 11. We want to get out there for the grand larcenies. We see a big uptick in packages being removed from in front of homes. If you're receiving a package, try to make the time when you're there. Let your neighbor know for help to get the package outside, away from the, outside of view. Your bicycles outside, make sure they're locked up. Your cars, we're getting car break-ins. Make sure all property is not visible. Either put in your trunk, put in the glove box, or bring it in your house. And make sure the doors are locked. Another thing also is rent scams. We have people looking for apartments. They're going to illegitimate places. They're reading signs on poles. They're calling phone numbers. We'll actually have somebody posing as a realtor or they'll actually have an apartment for somebody to look at, and they'll bring that person into the apartment, and they'll request $1,000 to secure the apartment. And we got a lot of residents who are actually giving away $1,000, $2,000 in cash, and they're losing that money. So if you know somebody who's looking for a rental, have them go to a legit real estate office. Other things, extortion. We're getting a lot of phone calls, either from Con Ed, from the FBI, from outside the country. They're saying that they're diplomats, that you're in trouble, that your family member's in trouble, you have an arrest warrant, and they're looking for money, and people are actually giving them money. So please, let your neighbors know, let your family members know, especially your senior citizens, the most vulnerable. Let them know that this is occurring and how they should do it. They should come to the police and make a report. All right. We know last week we had the homicide on Roosevelt Avenue. It was 2 gang members. The victim was an 18th Street gang member. The perpetrator is MS-13. We currently, as we know, don't have any MS-13 gang members living inside the confines of the 110. But that's what we know, and we know we see a couple graffiti tags on MS-13. And last year we cleaned up, I think, about 6 of them. But predominantly, the victim, 18th Street, they predominantly are in the 110, 115. All right. They predominantly hang out on 82 in Roosevelt, and then 5493 Avenue over there. 2 perps were caught. 1 of them is still outstanding. We're waiting and we're preparing, and we're doing everything we can to prevent retaliation from occurring. Because one gang's not going to let another gang member, commit a homicide and get away with it. So we're working with 115, us, the 110, narcotics gang, City Field Enforcement, SRG, Strategic Response Unit. We're all assisting, we're all working together to try to prevent a reoccurring act. All right? That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's an issue with the same vagrants that are congregating in the park across the street, as well as in the 7-Eleven. Every morning when I go in to get my newspaper, they're actually sleeping in the 7-Eleven.
Right.
And I've spoken to the,
If they're sleeping at 7-Eleven, that means 7-Eleven is allowing them to do
well,
that.
they go, no, I spoke to him, because the first time I went over to get my coffee, they're there. And it's a little frightening to see these men sleeping on the floor in 7-Eleven. So I spoke to the manager, and he said he knows they come in all the time. He wakes them up. Sometimes they leave, but he calls the police.
Okay, I'll look into it.
It's quite frightening, and I think it's just a horrible situation that we have to go into a store and see this, and especially in their park. They're there all the time. They're there in the morning.
The park is an open park.
Well,
Unless
they're
commit-
drinking, they're urinating,
They committing
they're
a crime
washing
like
their
that.
clothes.
If they're committing a crime like that, we'll assist. But we do visit this park quite often throughout the whole day. And usually, if they're sitting in a park, that's not breaking the law. They're drinking, that's against the law. They're urinating, that's against the law. We'll check and make sure officers respond to 7-Eleven and doing the proper job that they're supposed to be doing. I can't see us respond to 7-Eleven and the guy saying, I want that guy out, and us just leaving that guy there.
Oh, no, he calls them. He says he calls the police.
Okay.
He wakes them up and tries to get them out.
Right.
Sometimes they leave, sometimes they don't.
Mhm.
But he does call the police because I asked him.
Okay.
I've spoken to people and I told them, call Breaking Ground.
Yeah, we do operations with Breaking Ground.
Yes.
Breaking Ground's always in our precinct.
Then if they are undocumented, they don't have to go to Breaking Ground. Then they can go to the Bronx living room. They take undocumented. They're in the Bronx. And I have it in my directory. And I give it to people that call me all the time that are undocumented and need to go to a shelter. So that's another resource. I mean, you can
No, it's a
look
resource we use all the time. We always work with Breaking Ground. We do at least 2 operations a week with them. And they're here themselves, going through the parks. So we know the resource breaking ground, and we do work with them. Anything else? No? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll do the public forum now. Chow Chung Chin, you would like to speak? Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. And I just want to say something. This is purely my personal opinion. I would suggest Community Board 4 come out, take the initiation, go to participate like those celebrations. For instance, like this coming February 16, right? From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like year of ball, some say pig, whatever. So I think we are not a guest, okay? That's purely my personal opinion. Just coming out, take initiation. We go work with the legislative, like Mr. Daniel Drum, okay? There are other community, some like organization too. We come to celebrate, you know, every ethnic group, those things we try to involve. Also, you know what? I believe many population, the people in the community doesn't even know our organization, the community boards exist. Nobody knows. So we have to take the initiation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Mina Malik. You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mina Malik, and I'm running for Queens District Attorney. And I wanted to say hello to you this evening because, to me, this is coming home. I actually grew up not too far from here, down the street from St. Leo's School. I grew up in a basement apartment, and I feel like I've come home. I spent a lot of time at the Lemon Ice King and, you know, all over the parks here in Flushing Meadow Park. But I wanted to address you tonight because I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and my background and about my race for Queens DA. I have spent my entire life in the criminal justice system, and everything that I have done up until this moment in time has prepared me to be Queens District Attorney. I have worked for indigent people at the DC Public Defender Service investigating crimes while in Washington, DC. I worked at the Queens District Attorney's Office where I worked on the most heinous crimes you can imagine, sex crimes against women, child abuse, and crimes against the elderly. That was my focus there. I also went and worked for Brooklyn DA Ken Thompson, who revolutionized the Brooklyn criminal justice system by starting a conviction review unit and a low-level marijuana policy where we were not making arrests for low-level marijuana possession offenses. I've also worked on the other side of criminal justice, holding police officers accountable for misconduct as the head of the CCRB right here in New York City, the nation's largest police oversight agency. And so I come to you tonight because I want to address you as to why I'm the best candidate for Queens District Attorney. I am all about making the justice system in Queens fairer for all of us, but I am also about keeping all of you safe. And I'm sure you have all heard in the last week alone, there were 3 major shootings now. We had the one at the 90th Street and Elmhurst Station on the number 7 train, which the member of the NYPD was talking about earlier. And we had another one at a Jamaica deli where a bullet grazed a deli worker. And we had a third one tonight, which I'm sure you all will hear about later on when you go home. So tonight we lost a 19-year veteran of the NYPD, and a sergeant was also shot. And I don't think the names have been released yet, but this is a result of gun violence in our community. And so my platform, you can check out the entire thing on mina4da.com, but my pledge to you is not only to make the criminal justice system in Queens fairer for all of us and all communities of color here in Queens, but to continue keeping us safe from the gun violence that pervades this city at times and other cities across this nation, and to make sure that we hold those who commit serious crimes accountable for their actions. And what you need is somebody who's hardworking, who has experience in the criminal justice system, and who promises and pledges and knows how to investigate crimes and keep our community safe. Thank you for your time.
Oh, John Wayne.
Hey guys, it's John from the Queens Night Market. Been here more times than I can count now. Just letting you know about our 2019 season updates for the Queens Night Market. We plan to open April 20th. As with the last 2 years, we'll do sneak previews the 20th and the 27th to sort of keep the crowds down. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of 3 years ago. We'll plan to donate a substantial portion of the ticket proceeds to charity, so if you guys have ideas, feel free to contact me afterwards. In the past, we've done the parks, the NYPD, FDNY survivor funds, we've done immigration coalition, these kinds of things. So let us know what you think. Changes this year, we're going to open at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. And this is hopefully to drive more vendor sales. Vendor fees have been the same as last year, actually lower than last year, but we're hopefully it'll be a good thing for vendors. It's also something people have been asking about quite a bit. We're working with the NYPD. If you've been to the night market and you've actually wanted an adult beverage, you'd have to go into the sort of barricaded beer garden. We've worked with the NYPD this year and our security team to get rid of that, and people, once they show their ID and get proof, they can go take their beer wherever they want in the event, which I think will be a big boon for the traffic flow and all these kinds of things. For the 4th year in a row, we're also doing another free small business series. This year is working back again with the NYC Department of Small Business Services and LaGuardia Community College. With flyer, I didn't get to bring because they won't be done until Friday, but the first session's on February 28th. Let me know if you want more information on that, or follow our social media. It's all over there. And that's it for the Queens Night Market. I'm also chair of the Community Advisory Board for Flushing Meadows, and we have a quarterly meeting tomorrow night. It's actually a really important meeting because we're looking to adopt new bylaws, and we're going to implement sort of new procedures for electing officers. So that's at the Queens Museum tomorrow from, I think, 6:30 to 8. Let me know if you want information on that, and hope to see a lot of you out there. And are there any questions?
Okay, thank you,
Thanks.
John. Karina Kaufman?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Karina.
And I'm Abigail from
And-
Queens Neighborhoods United.
And we just wanted to give you guys a couple updates this evening. Last time we were here last month, we were talking to you about our Supreme Court trial. And unfortunately, the judge didn't rule in our favor, but that's okay because we're appealing it. And the most important thing was that there were almost 60 people who came through, and it was a real showing of community power. We were all there. And the next step is actually on March 7th, we're going to the Board of Standards and Appeals. Now this case is actually, it's not just about 82nd Street, this is about the whole city. This is gonna be a ruling that will decide whether or not large variety stores, like department stores like Target, Home Depot, can be building underground as big as they want. And if the judge or the Board of Standards and Appeals doesn't rule in our favor, then it affects development around the city. So really encouraging folks to come out if you can. If not, we're also accepting letters of testimony, just saying like you're against this this ruling. So please talk to us if you're interested. We'd love to go over there together or also talk there together.
And in recent news, this past Saturday, QNU, along with other organizations, we're along Roosevelt Avenue doing outreach in regards to Amazon. And yeah, so we had a great turnout. A lot of people came out to do outreach, and 200 community members signed onto a letter urging elected officials to completely reject the Amazon deal with no negotiations and no concessions. So that's very telling of what our community wants and what the elected officials should do.
Yeah. Other thing we wanted to update you with is we finally got a MailChimp. So we're starting to send out more emails. You know, we really want to be not just out in person, but also like sending emails, social media. If anybody would like to be on our mailing list, we promise we won't spam you. But if you want to circulate this, just to sign up if you're interested. If you don't mind passing it.
Yeah, and just last thing, if you were familiar with the organization Immigrant Movement International that was located at 111th and Roosevelt Avenue, unfortunately they closed down. They did a lot of work for the immigrant community, but fortunately they relocated. They found a new place. It's on the corner of 104th Street and 47th Avenue, and they have an opening party this Saturday. Woo, we're gonna be there, so you should come out too. The new location is now called Centro Corona, so please come out, show the support, you know, celebrate with community members for all the amazing work that this new organization is going to continue to do. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Burgon?
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Nice. The usual suspect, I know. So I'm here for two reasons. As you know, now I'm with Neighborhood Housing Services, where we focus on first-time home buyers, and we also help homeowners preserve their property. So for that end, you know, we're having our orientations for home buyers. So please reach out. I left some flyers with our phone numbers in the back. We also do mortgage assistance. If somebody that you know is having issues with their mortgage, have them please reach out to us, and we'll try to assist them in any way that we can. Emergency repairs also, we're working on that. We got funding through Councilman Drum. So if you know someone that's in need of repair for their home, please have them reach out to us. Again, the flyers are in the back in Spanish and English. And the second item is the jobs. We are rolling with the jobs at the LaGuardia Career Center. So if you know of anyone in need of a job, please refer to this flyer. The LaGuardia Career Center is located on Elm Court on the 3rd floor, and you'll be assisted by an account manager who will guide you throughout the whole process. We're trying to have our placements as soon as possible because we want those jobs to stay in this community. If not a lot of people are going, you know, they're gonna have to look somewhere else, and we don't want that. So please make sure you take a flyer, refer your folks to the Elm Court location, to the LaGuardia Career Center, and if you have any questions, I'm here in the back. Thank you.
One question, go ahead. Next time, wait to be recognized, please. Thank you.
So I referred one person, and they called, and you guys never called them.
So this is what's happening. The office at Elm Court is being renovated. They don't have their phones up yet. The number that's on this page is the office in Jamaica. I would have the person directly go, not call. Because if you call, you're gonna get the office in Jamaica, then they have to send an email, and it's a long process when you try to call. Right now, they're building their new space. Right now, it's a temporary space. So I would just have the person go, bring all the documents that are in the flyer, and they'll be assisted immediately. No need to make an appointment or to call. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Linda Corral?
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to take this opportunity as a public citizen to express my support for Councilman Moya. As a resident, a lifelong resident of this community for almost 50 years, raising a family with young children who takes mass transit, who has children, you know, going to school in the area, I can attest that he is incredibly committed to this community and diligent in working with all of the city agencies, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to express that.
Thank you. Now, excuse me, are you a board member, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't seen it. We hadn't marked you here. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Report of the legislators. We will start with the U.S. Senate. Any here representing Charles E. Schumer? Kristen Gillibrand? No. Now we will go to the House of Representatives. Grace Ming.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian, not Cassino. I'm just sitting in his chair today. I am your community liaison for Congresswoman Meng, though, so I'm here today just to tell you that we have Veteran Affairs Office Hours, as we do every month. This month it's February 27th. I left flyers in the back. Other than that, I have no major announcements. That's it, unless you have a question.
We're still behind on the retrofitting on the mailboxes. Could you ask her to put a push on that? I would so really appreciate it, because now you see we're being involved.
Yeah, of course. So from what I understand, mailboxes are being retrofitted starting from the ones surrounding the post offices, moving outward. They're also targeting areas that have high rates of being phished. Mail is getting taken out of those. Those are being targeted. You can put a call through if there's a specific mailbox that you know that a lot of the community uses and really needs to be retrofitted. Another thing, there was
To your office or to the post?
to my office, yeah. You can let our office know and we can follow up with them on that. Just so you all know, there was a first round of retrofitting for these mailboxes, and there was a mistake. Mail was supposedly still being able to be taken out of these mailboxes. So they did a round 2 and retrofitted the mailboxes again. Hopefully that eliminates all the problems that they had. The only issue now is you can't put big packets through that little slit that they have. It's only regular sized mail. So, you know, we have to do some adjustments to deter the crime, and it affects us negatively, but it has to be done. Thank you, Lucy.
Wait. Okay.
Hold on. Wait to be recognized. Go ahead.
About the post office service, I heard a lot, right? We have a lot of trouble. But this year, myself, I hit that situation. I mailed like a birthday card, like January 1st, I think. Then go to North Carolina. Then about 26th they received that. And then you try to call the post office, I send the mail. Nobody will answer, we don't know.
Right. That's a particular issue that you experienced. We're happy to look into any issues like that. Next time you experience that, you can just give us a call. We'll try to look into
I
it.
spent
Sorry,
$30 with like the mail fees,
Yeah,
to make
sorry.
registration fee. So I don't know, so far I still not know the recipient received that mail yet.
I'll talk to you after and I'll get more information.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Good evening, Committee Board 4. My name is Noreen Akhtar. I'm Deputy District Director for Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Just wanted to stop by and update the community on our district offices and constituent services. Our office will be located at 7409 37th Avenue. So that's over in Jackson Heights. We had to do a build out, so it's currently under construction, but we look to be up and running by March 4th. In the meantime, we have started our casework, so if anyone in the community needs help with any federal services, please feel free to give our DC office a call. That number is 202-225-3965, or visit our website, which is honestly the better way to go because our DC office is often inundated with calls. But our website is ocasio-cortez.house.gov, and you can fill out a constituent request form there. In addition to that, we wanted to invite everyone to the Congresswoman's inaugural address this Saturday. It'll be at Renaissance High School in the Bronx at 3000 East Tremont Avenue. Tickets, unfortunately, are sold out, but I'll leave my contact information in the back. If you are interested in coming, shoot me an email and I'll add you to the list. And finally, I know in the month of May will be a lot of the Muslim community members will be observing Ramadan. So if I can make a request to please reschedule May's meeting to before the start of Ramadan on May 1st or 2nd, the community would very much appreciate it. That's all I had for tonight. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, Lucy has a question.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations. I need your help. As you can see, I just went to Ming about the retrofitting in our mailbox. Been fighting this for almost 3 years on this board. It's recorded as such. We have a committee that's 25 years old because of our mailing problem. We are asking her to please put a push to have these places retrofitted quickly. We've been hit terribly.
Fire.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I would ask her if she would put a push for the retrofitting in her, for what she covers for this board. So I'd ask her please forward that to her.
Is there any area in particular?
Whatever she covers for Community Board 4, we'd like that forward. We've been hit already, or they've been wronged already, she says. And I had to go out to Ming too, you know, so I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, you are.
No, I just want to thank the Congresswoman for her passion, for her energy, for her tenacity. It's well appreciated, and especially on her green energy initiatives.
Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Hope everything works out for you. You haven't heard anything? Nobody heard you? Oh, nobody heard you?
You got over, yes. Nobody heard you.
Listen,
Maybe-
assalamu alaikum. Congratulations, and I wish everything worked out for you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Go ahead.
I want to also, Assalamu alaikum, also want to congratulate you as well as Alexandra and Costa, and hopefully that she will personally come and visit us here at Community Board 4.
Unfortunately, the timing of many community board, or at least this meeting, is when Congress is in session, but we look forward to stopping by in the summer during congressional recess.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. The New York State Assembly, Brian Barnwell.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Steven. I represent Assemblymember Brian Barnwell. I'm just here to announce a couple of events that we have going on in the month of February. The first one will be Women Empowerment Info Session. It's on Wednesday, February 20 from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's at Woodside Library. The second event is Know Your Rights Session. It's on February 22nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Mormon Church in Woodside. And finally, the last event is a mobile mammogram. It's on Wednesday, February 27th from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on the corner of 50th Street and Skillman Avenue in Woodside. I encourage you guys to please take advantage of these events because they're basically for you guys. So please, if you know anyone else that might need these, need the help of free mammogram screenings or anything like that, please, I encourage you to call our office at 718-651-3185. Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions? 718-651-3185. Yes.
Lucy.
Do you need an appointment for those, or you just?
Yes, you have to RSVP for the free mammograms or the Know Your Rights info session. Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Michael Dendecker. Jeffrey-Ann Aubrey. Catalina Cruz.
Hi everyone. First off, Happy Lunar New Year. And with that, I'd like to announce that we are having a Lunar New Year celebration with Assemblymember Brian Barnwell, which will be happening this Thursday. and it's going to be over at 7814 Roosevelt Avenue from 11 to 1 p.m. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I encourage everyone to come. And that's it for my announcements. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the New York State Senate. Michael Janaris. Jessica Ramos.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Zulema. I currently serve as a district director for Senator Jessica Ramos. I just wanted to update you a little bit on the different events that we have coming up this month. So currently we still have free tax preparation, so it's on Thursdays and Fridays. On Thursdays it's from 12 to 7, and then on Fridays it's from 10 to 6. We're also doing free legal services with CUNY Law. So we're offering immigration services and housing services. Immigration services will be on Thursday, and housing services would be on Friday. We also have on February 2nd a community-led violence prevention forum. No, February 20th, my apologies. A community forum with Make the Road. So that would be happening at Make the Road at 7 p.m. And then we also have, for Black History Month, we're doing a one-day film festival over at Lefrak City Library, which would be on February 23rd. I left some of the flyers in the front, and our office is open Monday through Friday from 10 to 6, and on Thursdays we're open till 8 p.m. Our office number is 718-205-3881. If you guys have any questions, concerns, I'll be staying after the event, so you could just reach me there. Thank you and have a good one.
Thank you. Toby Ann Stavisky. All right, the New York City Council. Francisco Moya.
Hello, everyone. Hi, kudos to everyone who made it to this meeting in this wonderful weather. You should give yourselves a round of applause. But my name is Fiveline Solano, and I am the new district director at Councilman Francisco Moya's office. So I'm very happy to be on the team. I want to let you guys know of some events that are coming up. Tomorrow, Wednesday, February 13th, Councilman Francisco Moya and Assemblymember Jeff Arbery are updating the community on the 114th Street and Northern Boulevard collapse. There will be various agencies there, New York City Emergency Management, Department of Transportation, Department of Buildings, DEP, and several others. So this is very important. If you want to make it there, it starts at 6 o'clock. On Friday, there will be a town hall in response to the gang activity that's happening in the community in light of the shooting as well that happened on 90th Street. So 110 precinct, 115 precinct will be present. They will have various units there as well, gang units and others. So that's a town hall. You can RSVP by contacting our office, but everyone's welcome. Even if you don't RSVP, please show up. And finally, the Black History Month event. You're all welcome to come. I really hope to see you all there. It's at Terrace in the Park on February 21st, 6 p.m. to 9. And that's it. But on Thursday is Valentine's Day. I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Spread the love.
Thank you. Daniel Drum. Okay, the Queensborough President.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Joe. I stay here is good?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so a couple of messages from the Borough President. I'm going to read a couple of statements because I don't want to get them wrong. The first one I'm not going to read. It's about internship program. The Borough President has an ongoing internship program. We are now looking at folks for the spring and the summer. So if you go onto her website, you will have a link for that. Wonderful guy runs the program, me. So send information if you're interested. Two statements, if I may read.
Sure.
First one is from the Borough President on the census. Borough President Katz announced on January 18th the first 71 appointments to a Queens Complete Count Committee. Members of the Queens CCC, many of whom are also members of the Queens General Assembly and Immigration Task Force, will strategize how to make sure everyone is counted among other tasks. How we are represented in Congress and the amount of federal money our borough receives for schools, infrastructure, and other sectors depends on the census. The count will be done mostly online. It may include the aforementioned citizenship question, making the Queens CCC's task of ensuring everyone in Queens is counted vital. You can also look up on our website for more information on that. Second and last statement, if I may. BP Katz on Rikers Island and borough-based jails. In a January 15th letter to the mayor, Borough President Katz reiterated her strong support for closing Rikers Island, calling an overhaul a moral imperative, but also called upon the city to start anew on the proposed Queens jail to ensure community input and to employ smart strategies to reduce the jail population. Quote of her, "The irony, however, of unveiling a citywide plan for modern community-based jails in the absence of community input is not lost on the boroughs, certainly not here in Queens," the borough president wrote to the mayor, as she decried the lack of community input into the proposal to build a 1.9 million square foot jail facility on 82nd Avenue in Kew Gardens. Any plan by the city, especially the sitting and design of any new jails, must include meaningful community engagement and input. The city needs to start anew, the borough president concluded. Their current plan has the closure of Rikers nearly a decade out. There's still time and opportunity to do it the right way. Careful planning in collaboration with affected communities who are treated as partners in, not irrelevant to, reform, while employing smart criminal justice strategies to reduce the jail population. I thank you.
Thank you. Scott Stringer, New York City Controller. Anybody representing him? No. The acting New York City Public Advocate, Corey Johnson. Anybody representing him? And by the way, there is an election on February 26th for that office. Please get out and vote. That's it. Report of the legislators is closed. Let's move on to the next item. The bylaws. I hope all of you have reviewed them. You had enough time to. Okay, what I'm going to do at this time is take questions regarding the bylaws. I will go around the room. I suggest you have your question ready, and you will have one question to ask. I will start with you, Ruby. Is that okay? Okay. Malik?
Some of the articles have changed.
Oh, they completely have changed. Yes, we had to move things completely around.
Okay.
They're not meant to try to match the way the old one was. Not at all.
Oh.
Linda? Lucy? Edgar?
No question.
Correct me if I'm wrong, last time you had, I think the gist of it was that, or the crux of it, was that we're moving from a super majority to a simple majority.
No, that was one of the articles.
That was one of the articles.
And we did that first
Right.
because that would have affected tonight. In other words, you wouldn't have been able to just have a majority vote tonight. You would have had to have a super majority vote.
That was voted on
And that was already approved, so
been implemented,
it's just a
right.
majority.
So is that citywide or is that just community board for?
Every community board in the city has their own rules within their bylaws. There is no uniformity, unfortunately, borough to borough or board to board. Each one has their own. The Borough President's Office had at one time spoke about trying to make it more uniform, but one of the problems that came up is some boards have term limits for officers and others don't. And I think that was a big sticking point in trying to get them together, because the ones that don't want it, and the ones that have it, have it. So that was an initial problem right away, so I don't think that's been resolved yet. Okay, Gregory?
No.
Peter? Ashley?
Bill?
Any questions?
I have a couple of comments for debate, I guess, when we move to approve. This would not be the time to do that, right?
No, if it's just during the debate section, no.
Okay.
If you have a question or you want to,
Well, I guess.
if it's a question,
One
not a
question is,
comment.
in Article 2, under Membership, Section 1, it looks like a note rather than an actual text. So I don't think we're, I don't think that's, we have that language yet, if I'm understanding that, what I'm looking at.
On page 1?
Page 1, Article 2,
Right.
Section 1, description of board makeup and nomination/appointment process. I think that's not what you want to have here. I think you want to have actual language that reflects the New York City Charter and the Borough President's website. I would just say, I went online to try to find the text of the charter with the most recent amendments, and I couldn't find it. But I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but that's probably just me. So I think that's something we might want to think about before we go on. I also have a couple of basically copy editing stuff, you know, like language and spelling. I'll do that now or do it later?
Let's do it now, I guess.
Okay. Okay. You won't regret it. Okay. On page 2, Article 6, officers' eligibility.
Yes.
I think after candidates, you want to put in the word for officers, officer positions, officer/director positions. To be clear that you're talking about everybody, not just the officers.
After candidates?
After the word candidates,
Right.
I think we should put in the words for officer or director positions.
But there's no such thing as director position.
What are the 4 guys? The at-large directors?
At-large directors are nominated and voted on.
Yes.
They're part of the officers. It's always been considered that way. You would like to specifically
Oh, no, I
mention
see. You're saying they're considered officers?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Then in Article 8, page 4, you start out with the duties of the officers. The chairperson shall be all these things. And then you move over to assist. And I just think that should all be shall. And you also, I think later on, you have one where the treasurer shall perform, I think is what you want to say. Shall maintain. I just think you want consistency in there.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. On the chairperson's description,
The
right?
chairperson's description seems fine. It seems to flow right.
All right.
Under B, where it says the first vice chairperson,
Right.
instead of saying shall, you use the word to.
Okay.
And I think you probably want to use the word shall. And then later on, you'll move around again with either shall or to or nothing. And I just think it should be consistent.
Okay.
And so they should all start with shall, I think, and like, instead of saying maintaining, you say shall maintain. Again, this is all just minor stuff, not substantive.
Okay.
I did a couple of substantive. On page 8, Article 12, Article Roman 12.
Okay, hold on. Let me get this. Okay.
Article Roman 12, number 1, the 3rd line down. You want to say proceed, P-R-O-C-E-E-D, not precede.
Okay.
It's a type error.
Yeah, that's a typo.
On the next one, Article 13, number 2, I don't think you need the word other in there, where it says other elected officials. Unless there's some other language that was lost.
What number is that?
I'm sorry, page 8.
No, page 8.
Article Roman 13.
Right.
Number 2, sub
Right.
2. The last line, it starts with the word board, and then it says, comma, other elected officials or their reps. I don't think you want the word other.
Just leave it elected officials.
Because there's no other elected officials.
Other elected officials.
Okay. So you would just prefer to say elected officials?
I think that's what you want to do to get it right.
That's fine. Okay.
And then later, I do have a couple of things that are actual related to the decision. Those are the editing things.
Okay.
Cool.
I just want to go back to page 4. Page 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would prefer that all of the to assist say shall?
I think the important thing is that it's consistent. And
Okay.
So
All right.
either you start with the chairman being shall, and
Everybody else should follow suit, more or less.
Right.
Okay.
And also, it's not just shall or to. There are several where there's not. It just says like under secretary. There's neither a shall nor to. There's a key. So I just think you should. We should choose one and go with the same thing.
Okay, that's fine. So shall consistently.
Shall.
Okay, that's
in
fine.
front of after every number, the first word would be shall, followed by a verb, not a gerund.
Okay. All right. All right, let's move on. Next. Mr. Chin.
Yes. I didn't hear very clear about the board director at large, what their basic job is, what they are doing, what they direct.
Hold on.
What page are you talking about?
Yeah, what page are you talking about?
Yeah, the board director at large.
Page 5. Page 5.
Okay, page 5.
Page 5.
The at-large directors shall serve as members of the executive committee with full voting power. There is not specific duties, as you well know, Mr. Chin, having been to an executive committee meeting already, you have an assignment, a very specific one. It is not mentioned here because those assignments come up as needed. So we don't want to get into a specific description for them because they're kind of floaters, actually, to be honest. They may be assigned to any number of things. We can't list all the things that they would do in any capacity. Do you understand that?
Sort of, like, except the director at large, right? But the rest of the officers, everybody has some
Well, because
specific
the
jobs.
vice chairs are obviously chairs and treasurers are treasurers, but this at-large directors are really, like I just got through explaining, they're kind of floaters who will fill positions as necessary on various committees. As you well know, you got assigned to the aviation committee.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's only one so far.
We wouldn't have that, yes. Well, the other people are chairs of committees already, so there was a problem with trying to assign them to additional duties. Remember that. As you well know, having been at that meeting. Yeah.
That maybe you can put other duties as assigned by the chair,
That's already known.
shall serve as members of the executive committee with full voting power. And then you can, when he's talking about duties, you can say they're assigned duties, as needed on an on-need basis or something like that.
Okay. Yes.
On that thing, when it says at-large director, should it be director at large?
No. At-large director.
Is that large director?
Okay, we'll embellish that a little bit. Assigned by the chair. Various duties assigned by the chair.
That's what you put in there?
Yes,
Various duties?
various duties assigned by the chair.
Okay, you're adding that.
Yes. Okay, anybody else? Go ahead. Lucy? Okay.
So on Article.
What page are we on? Let's start with that.
Page 8, but it starts on page 7, Article 12. I am concerned about the use, when people come up to speak, you tell them 2 minutes, but in the bylaws you have 3 minutes. So is it 2 minutes or is it 3 minutes?
Okay, it starts on page 7.
Here, on this one.
No, are you reading the new one or the old one?
Well,
Let's deal with the new one. What are you doing?
I'm just seeing what was in the old one.
I don't care about the old one. We're dealing with the new document. Okay? Let's go there. What does it say in the new one?
Article 12 was Article 12 here on this side. Public hearing, okay. Oh, okay, public hearing. So you only have like just an 8 on the back. I don't see anything else to say how long people have to speak.
It's page 8, Article 13.
Page 8. Item 2 at the top of the page. I see it. So we should put in there a specific 2 or 3 minutes. The other one had 3.
It has it.
So now, excuse me?
It has 3 minutes.
No, the old one had
No, the new one.
3. Really? Not the copy I have? No, this.
Yeah, but you don't say 2 minutes, so is it here, is it 2?
You're talking about the public forum section, right?
Yeah.
3 minutes.
It says 3
It
minutes.
says 3 minutes.
Okay, but you always tell people they have 2 minutes when they come up to speak.
Yeah, but that's board members. We need board members asking.
Oh, this is board members asking to speak. This is not public
What
forum.
What page is that? Article
Page 8.
Article 13, number 4.
This is not the public forum. The public forum will remain 2 minutes.
So,
Well, we don't really,
so you need to state that?
we don't actually even
You don't need to
discuss.
state that it's for the public?
Well, actually, in this document, we have not addressed the public forum specifically. I don't know if we should or not. I would almost prefer not to, actually. But it doesn't say. It does say. Actually, it does say public forum. Okay, so it is 3 minutes. We'll allow everybody to speak 3 minutes. We'll go with the 3 minutes. That's fine. It is there. Yeah, it does. It's 3 minutes. Yes, we'll let them speak 3 minutes. 1 more minute won't do too much. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Okay. Okay, let's discuss approving this document. First of all, we need a motion on the floor to do so.
I make a motion that we accept the bylaws as presented.
Okay, second by
With
Ashley.
corrections.
With corrections, yes, please.
Seconded by who?
Ashley, yes. Okay, now it's on the floor. Is there any discussion that anyone would like to? Go ahead, Malik.
I think that the bylaws should be corrected before we make the vote on it.
How long do you want this to go on for? I'm very serious about this.
So it's correct.
You can make a motion.
In my opinion.
The motion on the floor is to accept it with the corrections. So that's what will be done.
Yeah.
And you will get a copy of that. Okay, let's move on. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the changes is it moves the term limit from 2 to 3.
Yes.
I think that we should not do that for these reasons. First, we just went through the election last year where people indicated, the people of the city as a whole, indicated an unhappiness with lengthy terms. And I think we should be aware of that when we're considering this. More importantly is the term limit that we're looking at in 8 or 9 years on the members of the board. There will be a tendency to stay, unless somebody is not good at it, to stay in the office they have for the three terms. If we're going to be seeing a lot of churn in membership, I think it's in our interest to get people into the rotation through the offices, so that when people go off, as we will all have to, people will have had experience in various, like people will have experience as vice chair and maybe sitting in if the chair is absent. People will have experience with the offices and will be able to step in and without, I think it will aid in avoiding disruption when the time comes that large numbers of other boards go up. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to speak to that. The reality is that the term limit is really 2 years, because after 2 years, you don't have to vote for that person again. That will be entirely up to whichever board will be here at that time to decide that after 2 years, they want someone else, whoever that will be. That'll be their choice. The fact that we're adding a third year that person could run, if they so choose to, is because it was thought that 2 years is not long enough. It should be 4 years, in fact.
But it's
No. 2-2-year terms right now, but that's not a 4-year term. You don't get what I'm saying.
I do.
Just like the president is 4 years of the United States, it was suggested that the chairman should also be 4 straight years, and then he could run for another 4. Now that would be even more to that 8-year time limit than this is. This is every 2 years. You have the opportunity to either vote for that executive committee or not vote for them. Now, in all fairness, we just had an election, and we were surprised that the current chair decided very late not to run for chair again. He took many people by surprise, including myself when I got the call from him telling me just before the meeting a few days that he was not going to run again. Now, the truth of the matter is that those things happen, and that's it. He decided not to run. He could have run, he certainly could have. If someone is new to this position as chair, especially the chair more than the other positions, it may take them 2 years to get comfortable enough to be the proper chair. So then they have 2 more years then, and then they're kind of forced out when maybe if they're doing a good job, they should be allowed to stay. But that would be up to the board to decide that. And there are a lot of people who were suggested from the floor to run for chair said no. So there wasn't like an overwhelming number of people who even wanted the position, in all fairness. And that's what I have to say about that. Now, we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Are we ready to vote, or would you like more discussion?
Ready to vote.
Okay. It will be a roll call vote. If you vote yes, it's to approve the bylaws with the changes as noted.
Karen Abreu, Priscilla Carreau, Giancarlo Castagno,
No, only the people who are here.
Lucy Cerezo Scully,
Yes.
Xiao Chung Chen,
Yes.
Linda Corral,
Yes.
Erica. Judith DeAndrea?
Yes.
Marielena Giampino?
Yes.
Kristen Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Salvatore Lombrado? Patricia Martin? Matthew McElroy?
No.
Lavinia McGowan?
Yes.
Edgar Moya?
Yes.
Ruby Mohammed?
Yes, with the correction.
Gerda Signorula?
Yes. With the correction.
Georgina Oliver? Alexandra Owens?
Yes.
Alexa Ponce?
Yes.
Ashley Reed?
Yes.
Neil Roman?
Yes.
Christian Romero? Yes. Clara Salas?
Yes.
Gigi Salvador? Lucy Sharello?
Here. Yes.
Ared Sevilla?
Yes.
Malika Shabazz?
No.
Gregory Spock?
Yes.
Diwan Tarek?
Nay.
Marcello Testa?
Yes.
Lewis Walker?
Yes.
Min.
Okay, it obviously passes. Thank you, and let's move on to the next item on the meeting. Thank you. Oh, yes, by the way, I guess I should say it now. All of the people who are on the committee, if you'd like to acknowledge yourselves that you were there, you can certainly do so. When acknowledged that you were on the committee, you can certainly do so. To help do these bylaws. This went over the summer. This went for over a year. This was a long process with a lot of back and forth. Sometime Damien decided to pop in. Sometime he wasn't there, you know. I guess not. Here we are. Okay, yeah.
So I do want to say that we spent a lot of time really reviewing this, reviewing the wording. A lot of changes is based on the wording so that we got it accurate. So thank you for everyone that was there. We spent some late nights there. We really did a lot of work. And actually, something that what you had mentioned actually came up and we discussed it. And you know, we had agreed that because a lot of us have been chairs don't have positions, and we realized it takes a really long time before you get to really understand how the processes work, which is why we made that decision. But we really did. Like I have to admit, I didn't realize we were going to be as thorough as we were, and they were very, very thorough. So I'm confident with it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's move on. Mr. Moya, would you like to come forward?
Sure. How are you? Thank you, Chairman. I'm sorry that I'm late, but I wanted to keep my perfect attendance record here at CB4, so the snow can't keep me away. I know that Phoebe Solano from my office spoke to you about a couple of events that we're having, and I hope that you can all attend. I just want to sort of touch base on two quick things. We had two great meetings with some of the non-for-profits in the district to teach them about how to apply for public funding. And it was a great success. So there's still a few days left. February 19th is the cutoff. So if you know of anyone, please make sure that they call our office, and we're happy to help them in establishing how they can apply for some of the city funding that we have. We had a very successful pet vaccination event on Saturday. It was probably one of the coldest days out of the year. We had over 200 dogs and cats that got vaccinated, and the people showed up at, like, the first person I think was there at 6 in the morning. We started at 11. And we went the whole day, and then the following day we had the spay and neuter van. Here, we're gonna do that again in the spring because it was very successful. You know, we all have pets and we love them, and we know that here in Corona, in the surrounding areas, it's very limited on places where you can go to get your pets vaccinated. It's very expensive too, so it's free of charge. It's a program that I like to sponsor, but it's something that I hope to continue to do because the response was great, and it's something that's very neat. Ironically, my new office used to be a veterinarian office. So it worked out well. And just quickly to touch upon, as you know, there was sort of the horrific incident that took place on 90th Street with sort of the gang violence that we've seen. And we have to thank the NYPD, the 115, for being very quick to apprehend the individual that committed that crime. That same day, my office got tagged up with MS-13 on the side of the wall. Look, I don't think I'm the target. I think that, you know, I have a big white wall, and it is sort of the canvas for a lot of young kids who want to tag up. But I think in order to sort of calm the community and sort of give them all the right information, we are doing a town hall on Friday at St. Leo's with the 110 and the 115. We're going to have the gang unit there as well to answer all of your questions. I think this is a perfect opportunity for the community to come out and voice their concerns and really hear from the police department what's really happening in our community. A lot of this has been because we don't have access to our young people to have after-school programs. The job force and the workplace opportunities are not there for our people. And we know that when we can provide that, it gives them a pathway to staying out of this life of crime and being involved in gangs. And part of why I fight to get more resources to a lot of the after-school programs in our schools is because of that. You know, I'm born and raised here. I went to St. Leo's. I had an after-school sports program. And you know, there go by the grace of God that I could have gone either way, but if it wasn't for a program that kept me off of the streets, you know, you're easily susceptible to the pressures that we face here. And with the culmination of overcrowded schools, lack of job opportunities, this is why we have to fund our programs. You know, one of the things that I've been fighting for is one of the programs out in East Elmhurst over at the Louis Armstrong School. The YMCA was about to pull out from their after-school program. I fought to get money to keep it there. We're going to continue to do that because it's important. And like what we really need in this community is to have this administration help me fund an actual community center that will provide not just our youth but our seniors an opportunity for them to come and have a productive place where we can live in a community that we're not fearful of. And you all pay taxes. We shouldn't have our kids having to walk from their house to the school and have to see the graffiti with sort of these gang tags that are there. You know, we have to make sure that we are being proactive, and that's what I do. You know, you'll see that some of the things that we did with the 110 and the 115 by taking the graffiti off, we do that throughout the year. It's not, you know, a reaction to what just happened. You know, I fund the 110 and the 115 with their graffiti removal program. We're going to continue to do the same thing. But I hope that you know that we are working really hard to make a difference in this community. You know, I'm not moving. I got my whole family here, and just like you, I share the same concerns. I walk down the same streets, and we're trying to address all of those things by having these kind of town halls, and I hope that you can all attend and, you know, ask all the questions you want because it's important that we hear from you. So, Chairman, I've taken too much of your time. I know you had a 2-minute time limit, but
which is 3 now.
3 minutes now. But thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you.
Okay, we had a guest speaker who was supposed to be here from the USTA. Because of tonight's weather, they had to come from New Jersey, so obviously they canceled. And and they couldn't come. Okay, so we're going to move on to public safety.
Before I do, I'd like to announce the parking for Elmhurst Hospital that we got free. Can I announce that?
Not yet.
Not
Don't
yet?
do that yet. Yeah.
Wanna wait?
Yeah, let's wait.
Okay. Just remember it's there.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
I said to you last month that I would make an effort to find parking for us. Well, we got free parking at Elmhurst Hospital. The only thing they're asking is they want a tentative meeting date, and they would like the name of those that have the cars, so that if you come in, they have your name. And that's what needs to be done. So we do, if you want to meet in Elmhurst, we have free parking. I have the notes right
Okay, there's one meeting going on here. If you need to step out or discuss anything, please do so, but not here.
Unfortunately, we did not have a quorum. We did have a meeting, a wonderful meeting, because we talked about MS-13 and others, so I'm going to discuss that first before we go on to the liquor licenses. First, I want to thank the 110. We had a major problem of near 40th and Junction Boulevard, a La Calera restaurant. We dealt with prostitution and drugs. I got a group of people together, and they closed them down. So I'm very happy. So we gave them a great attaboy for that. Graffiti. They also hit a few places that were gang-related for graffiti to clean it off. They looked at the tags. But they are starting, Mr. Moya here, Councilman Moya, the Economical Development Corporation, and the 110 are doing an initiative, a large one. It's going to be a large group of people. If any of you have areas that need to be cleaned of graffiti, hand it over to me, and call into the office, or Moya's office. They need it within the next week, within this week, and it's supposed to be huge. They're also looking for volunteers. They know it's hard for a lot of people to take some time off, but they could use that help as well. So if anybody's willing to help with that, fine. But this is a big initiative. I think you're going to see even a bigger cleanup in our area. Okay, we talked about, of course, the MS-13 killing, Sunday, February 3rd, and I spoke to Captain Gentry about this. At the time that it hit, they had this problem immediately. They put 2 transfer's officers on the platform, from 115 and 110, surrounded the whole area, not on the platform, but on the street level. They have undercovers and homicide all there, still going on now. And of course, he gave you more initiatives tonight. I asked him to look at some of the nightclubs and sports park. Being that I've been doing this for so many years, we know that some of them hang out near most of the sports parks, so they're going to look into that as well. All right, next, the shooting in Left Rock, the victim that was shot at 57 and 97th Street. No arrest at this time. The victim is in a very bad way. He may be paralyzed. They found out the shooting was definitely gang-related. So that's what we got updated on that.
When did that occur? Was it?
I think it was December 2018.
A few months ago.
Yeah, December 2018. But we asked for an update on that.
But they said they had footage.
Well, I don't know. At the meeting they brought up, they know that they wanted to check if it was gang-related, and they proved it both were gang-related. So this is what, as time progressed, we get more information.
Any particular gang?
No, they didn't tell me. It's still being under investigation. There's a lot going on. We have multi-gangs moving into the area.
Okay,
Okay, well, that's why you gotta come to these meetings. Gambling. For your information, Charlie, because you were so pushing about the gambling that's going on in the community, we did a small meeting, myself and the 110, about going after the gambling in the park. They made 4 arrests at Clement Moore Park, and they gave out summonses. They couldn't give me the amount of money, but I want to let you know that one of the tables they got, they made an arrest thanks to you. I'm doing my own lots, so I thank you very much for that. E-bikes and scooters, they are illegal. They're illegal to sell, and they're illegal to ride. And we brought up about a couple of stores that are selling them. Again, the NCO officers and civil enforcement made some arrests along 91st and Corn Avenue, the big one down there. And they also got some summonses. So that's good news. The next thing we brought up was jumping turnstiles. We've been getting complaints that people are paying to go on the number 7 and take the buses, but they're going right through the doors, and they want to know more from transit on that, so I'm trying to reach somebody from transit to see how they're doing for us on the number 7, besides the killing on MS-13. One of our members brought up about taking pictures. She was going to talk this up to one of the law enforcement people about how people are profiting by taking pictures of incidences and just putting and posting it out, not thinking about the victim itself. They don't mind giving it to the police or somebody that could do something about it, but actually capitalizing on it and really making fun of it. We found this out. So we're going to be discussing that further and such. So, and there's talk of price gouging. You know that some stores are price gouging now, along Broadway mostly, so that's something we're going to look at as well. And if anybody else has anything else they want to bring to us, please do so. Yeah, but I just tapped on it. Okay. All right. We're gonna
Lucy,
do the-
I have a question.
Yes.
Why would the police be involved with price gouging?
No, we just tapped on it because if you are illegally doing something, and the police can do an undercover, we'll give it to Consumer Affairs. If they see, if people come, because people will come to me bringing it up, I said, okay, I'll bring it to their attention.
Okay, it's
But
coordination.
that was something I addressed to our chair of Consumer Affairs, and that's something we should bring up. And they're gonna look into it.
Okay,
Okay, does that help?
that's fine,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. All right, now we'll go with the liquor license. And we have to go, as you can see, 5 only came, there's 13. 5 only made it to our meeting. Usually when they're new, as you can see from your list in front of you, they need to come to the community, public safety committee. And 3 made it. That was number 2, which is Kathleen, 40-1282, Diva Jerez, 9109 43rd Avenue, Kendo Sushi, at 8280. All of them have very good records. Luckily, there's nothing, they are not inheriting any bad history over there. So if you wish, that's a more.
By the way, her committee did not have a quorum, and one of the reasons was a couple of board members asked to join her committee as a second committee. But let me say this, if you cannot make the meetings, you're going to be removed because you're affecting the quorum of that committee by not showing up. You can't, I can't show up today, I'm there next week. It doesn't work that way. When you decided to make the commitment to that second committee, you have to show up. Otherwise, you're going to be removed. So I'm just warning any of you who are thinking about joining a second committee, if you can't make the meetings, don't join. Thank you.
Thank you. So those 3
Yes.
are usually, okay, go forward.
Sometimes there's emergency, you can't make the meeting, so you're gonna be removed.
You will be if you continuously have emergencies. You can't have emergencies every other meeting.
No, I'm asking a question.
And I'm telling you
Okay.
that if you
So,
continuously have emergencies.
Well, I
you're
didn't
gonna
make
be
the meeting and it was emergency, and if I have emergency, I can't make the meeting, I can't make the
Well,
meeting.
you're gonna be removed, because you can't affect
It
the
only
quorum
was
of the
one
committee.
time.
One time is fine. We're not talking about one time. You heard what I said. Go ahead. What, you wanna ask something?
Okay, I wanna say too, because I was confused, normally our meeting is the first Tuesday in every month, and now, this month it was Wednesday. You know, so it's in my mind to have it Tuesday, so is it gonna be Tuesday, or is it gonna be Wednesday?
No,
'Cause
no,
we
we
go back and
mentioned at the
forth.
the previous meeting that we mentioned the dates that it would be on a Wednesday. Yeah, we mentioned
Is it
that.
always Wednesdays?
No, when we
it
can't do
wasn't.
that
It was
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
we would discuss the date, and it was brought up at that meeting, the month before.
Okay.
But problem is this, we don't find the parking. In case you come over there, you half an hour, you keep on rotating your left, right, then finally you desperate, you go back.
It's difficult to park, but we can't do anything about
Then
that.
only this is the problem, and just I guess you waste a lot of time.
We can't create parking spaces. You
I
know
know,
that.
I know, this is a.
That's the situation. Look, let's move on.
Okay.
It's not making excuses for why
Okay.
one can't show up.
Okay, let me-
No,
let me-
I'm hearing a lot of excuses, quite frankly. Yes.
Lucy, I have a question for Lucy, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed number 6 on your new applicants list is El Rincon Criollo on Junction Boulevard. It's been there forever.
Isn't it wonderful? But now they got a new owner, I'm hoping. it's-
Oh, it's a new owner.
You see.
Is that why they need new, that's why they're a new
All new
applicant?
people need to come to us.
Thank you.
All right?
I couldn't
And
imagine them being a new people.
They are, I was so hurt to see this, they are a magnificent restaurant, all new people need to come to us. So, but I will mention this, as we mentioned the mail, many of the people we've met, some of them have said that they haven't been getting their mail. Now, a lot of you don't even read your emails, but I make it very clear to some people that we have a terrible mailing system. I don't know if they're getting it late, which I wouldn't be a bit surprised, and LP always came. So, I'm gonna discuss this with Christina and, Christian about maybe more than just the mail.
Well, they do electronic.
Yes,
Some
I
people
know,
don't.
I don't know. Right now it's by mail, I'm willing to do a little more, if the office doesn't mind doing a little more. But El Recon is a wonderful thing, they're all under the new. And all new people need to come in. Only 3 were able to make it, but who knows what happened with the mail, as I stated. There's some terrible problems with that.
Now,
As I
the
said,
general policy regarding the new people is what?
if they don't come, it's a no until they come to us.
Now, they didn't have a quorum, so they really couldn't vote on it.
Right, that's why I'm coming. So 3 came. So with them, it would be a yes. They were very clear in their records. The other 1, 2, 3, 4 need to come back. And that's it.
So the question is, go ahead.
Just a comment on like our email system. Can I suggest setting a calendar that's accessible to the public, that's on our community board website, so that we know exactly when the community board meetings are. If there's
Well, on the community
changes.
board website, I think we do post it, don't we? Currently, the meetings for the committees?
Yeah, the meeting calendar.
Yeah, it goes on our Facebook and
It
stuff
goes
like
on our
that,
Facebook
and not
and
on
other
the
things.
website though.
But not on the
doesn't-
website?
The website doesn't really have like a
The
calendar.
website doesn't have that kind of calendar.
Some of the things that I was bringing up that I would like to do, like, I like to.
So that it's visual, a lot of, some people.
Yeah, well, the website
that
doesn't have that
doesn't-
ability.
Right.
That goes to the website. That actually goes to the
The
website.
PDF of that is posted on the website.
Yeah, a PDF is something you have to click on. It's not something that somebody's actually going to see when they look at the calendar of events. I'm talking about having like the physical calendar. You have a drop-down menu that says calendar of meetings.
The website does not have that kind of functionality, so we can't have that kind of thing.
Manhattan community boards have it.
Ours do not. Because remember, every community board is different and it doesn't really run on the same system.
All boroughs don't run on the same system.
Literally every
It
board
might
is
be
different.
possible.
And you can use the WhatsApp?
We'll ask about it.
WhatsApp, you can
Thank
use
you.
the
We'll ask.
WhatsApp. And you can send the message on WhatsApp.
No, because not everyone has cell phone. Not everyone has cell phone, so, and she wants access to the public.
Everybody's helpful now.
All right, Mr. Chin?
Could I both send some letter or notice to the web, those website, tell them, because many information are correct.
What website?
You can see it.
What are you
You
talking
can see when they say like a community board 4, that they come out, but some information is correct. For instance, your name still not there.
Oh, no, that hasn't been changed yet. It will be changed shortly. Yes.
I'm gonna go.
Go ahead, Lucy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'd like to move the approval of numbers 2, 4, and 5.
Okay. Everybody looking at 2, 4, and 5?
Those are the right ones.
All ones that came, oh yes.
Those are the people who came, 2, 4, and 5. Do you want to go and approve those?
Yes.
Okay, we need a motion. Make your motion formally, and we need a second.
A motion.
And he seconds it.
What are you talking about?
Okay. The motion to approve 2, 4, and 5 from her list.
The three people who showed up.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay.
And
That's
then the
taken
others
care of.
will be no, they have to come back.
The others are
Doesn't mean
no's
they're not
because
gonna
they
get
didn't show
their license.
up.
Let me make that clear. It does not mean they're not gonna get their license.
Right, it
They
does
just
not
need to-
mean it.
Right, that's it. Okay. Renew. I'm very happy to say that we've been doing very well with these restaurants, hardly any problems. Who did come from the Renew was number 8, Lao Zhu, I hope I say this, Val at 8311 Broadway. There was a harassment complaint, but only verbal. The police says that we really don't have anything to worry here on this one. And number 13, El Sardino, there was an assault stemming from a physical fight, but they did not, they kind of like made peace with each other. There's really nothing, again, the cops didn't make more of it. So, it's, right. Oh, they kept it that way, all right. This is how it was given to me. Number 1 then, Lao Zuzam, that's 8311 Broadway. 6, I'm sorry. That's 6, I'm usually. Okay. Why is that changed? Okay, 6 came, and El Sardino, and that's number 5.
Number 5 came.
5 and 6 came.
And the other ones did not?
The others did not.
Go ahead.
5609 Grand Central Parkway?
Oh, that is the, further again?
That's Queens Museum.
Queens Museum.
I'm sorry, not Queens Museum, Queens Theater in the Park.
Theater in the Park.
That's their official
No, I
act.
have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have it in front of me. So those two came. Again, their records were, the cops said that there were small minor events. So it would be up to you. Yes,
Okay,
if
we
you
need
would
another
like.
motion to approve the two people who
Okay.
came.
I make a motion to approve the committee's recommendations.
Second by Georgina. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes, any abstentions? Okay, it's unanimous. And the other ones you were saying no to because they didn't show.
Well, they didn't show, yeah.
All right, we don't know what the problem was, whether it was the mail or not.
Right, that when they come, we'll know.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you for your report.
Thank you very much.
No, you didn't mention Baxter and Mexican.
Did they come? I don't know.
No.
There's no I know, that's what we did. The rest now they have, it's gonna be no. Oh, all right. She wants me to go over each one anyway. Oh, these two, all right. Oh, they have, all right, 11 and 12 had a clean record. They didn't come, and the reason for that is because of the report. There was no report from the police department on number 12.
Baxter Fellows, number 2,
Mexicana, number 4.
and number 4 on the renewals. They had a clean record, so they were not invited to come.
Right.
So that means you guys should have, well, if you want to approve them, because they had no issue.
No issue with
Okay,
them.
so that's number 4, and that's the only one?
And number 2.
And number 2.
Okay, number 4 and 2 had no issues even though they didn't come. So do you want to approve
They
those?
weren't invited to come because they had.
They were clean, very clean records.
They had a clean record, so we didn't ask them to come.
Oh, we didn't ask them to come?
Exactly.
Oh, well, wait a minute then. We have to approve them.
Right.
That's the case.
Move to approve numbers 2 and 4.
All right. Second?
I can remember.
Second by Guru. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any noes? Any abstentions? Okay, it passes.
All right.
They are approved. They had no issues. We're moving on. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for your patience.
Okay, Consumer Affairs.
Yeah, so we had a meeting last month, and I had 3 of our board members were present, so 3 out of 5, so we had a quorum. So the only thing we had to vote on was the minutes from the meeting before, which was in October. And then I updated the members of the community of the new election that happened with chair, vice chairs, treasurer, and committee at large. We then understood from the community that JCPenney will not be closing like
Not our location.
I'm sorry?
Not our location.
Not our location at Queens Cinema. I'm only talking about Queens Cinema. And then we had our Merchant Association representative talk about things that are happening in the neighborhood. And we still have a bit of price gouging at the Food Bazaar on Junction, on 57th Avenue. And we would like the board, if possible, to write them a letter or to have somebody come in and take a look. I don't know who that would be.
The Department of Consumer Affairs of New York City would need to come in and do
Okay,
that.
so
That's
can-
what they're
so-
charging.
So can you tell them, or will you write a letter?
We will
and tell them
request that they go and
come
view the
take a
store.
look?
I'm not so sure if they can actually reprimand a store in any manner just because the prices are high. No one is being forced to shop in their
Okay.
store, remember that.
Right, but what happens is when you go to the store and there's one price on something, and
Right.
you take it to the cashier, it's a total different price.
Okay.
And the manager should actually be, adhering to the price that was, that was advertised.
That was displayed, you're
Yes,
correct.
and then, so when a customer makes an argument about that, sometimes they're not willing to change the price. So, Jim Galloway, who is the Merchant Association person, said he's going to meet with the corporation people, because he knows them, to see
Okay.
if he can talk to them about that first.
Okay.
And see what happens. So wait for him to report back at our next meeting on March 22nd.
Oh, so we haven't heard from him yet?
No, not because this just happened last time, so
Oh.
he's going to go and do a second. This is our second complaint, and there was more than one from the people who were at the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, then.
We'll look into that. We'll ask the Department of Consumer Affairs if that is the type of situation that they can address.
And the quality of food, especially fruits and so forth, that's not always up to standard. So I don't know, again, this is not a consumer.
Up to what standard?
As,
The
you know, you're going
FDA
to-
is the
okay, you're going to-
governing body of, well, look, the FDA is the governing body of
Well, that's what I
food
have in here,
and
that
drugs.
FDA.
So if it passed their standards and you or I or someone else doesn't like it, you're not being forced to purchase it.
I know, but I mean, you shouldn't have to go and buy meat that's full with blood on.
You don't have to buy it. You're missing the point. You're acting like this is the only store that you can buy from.
Well, you know, it depends on where you have. The people have cars to go all over the place to go shopping. Like most of us, you know, a lot of people like me, I don't shop in my neighborhood because I go out in my neighborhood to shop because I don't want to shop around there because I don't find the quality is of, you know.
Right,
value
that's
to
a
me.
choice.
Right, so that's a choice. I don't shop. But for the people who can't do that, I think it's.
Well, I'll ask the Department of Consumer Affairs if that's the kind of thing that they can do.
Oh, okay. Then Lucy touched on the subject before, so I'm not going to go to that. We also talked about, Lucy also brought to the committee an ad that was in the newspaper by our former public advocate, Patricia, about things that happened in certain area codes like 500, 900, 540, a lot of these different area codes. When you call them, it's actually a scam. They put an ad in the paper for something, and then when you call, they redirect you to someplace else where you now have to pay a charge to talk to somebody about the services that they advertise. So there was a big thing. I actually attached the thing to my minutes that you can have and review. Then we had our president of the Left Rights Tenants Association, Michelle. And Michelle came and talked about all the new things that are happening in Left Rack and what the mission is for the buildings then there in that area, and how we can encourage a lot more young people to move into the community and help with their needs.
Okay.
They were concerned. The TSA was concerned about the people that are concerned about the TSA with the government shutdown. So they started some kind of food pantry. Lucy has some good ideas as to how people can collect food, not only for that, but for the elderly living in the neighborhood and for the homeless to try to feed them. So I think Michelle is also working with something like that.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you.
Okay, so
Wrap it up.
next meeting is the 22nd of March at 7:30 at Silver School. Anybody's interested.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chin?
Yes, I believe this is a very important issue now for the consumer, for the chair. And about our food quality in New York City, maybe in the whole United States.
Mr. Chin, hold on right there. We're not going to take the meeting now and discuss the food quality of the food in overall, you just said it, New York City, okay? We need to be concerned about what goes on. Let's deal first with Community Board 4's district, okay? As I told her, we will ask the Department of Consumer Affairs if that is the kind of thing that they get involved with. Okay, let's not prolong things.
The food quality is very low.
Community Board 4 includes Elmhurst and Corona, sir, okay? Let us move on.
Consumer like a pigs, they feed us like a pig.
Okay, all right, we will look into that. Thank you, let's move on.
But that's the health department that is matter.
Go ahead, Lucy, what do you want to know?
Back, Georgina. It's seniors that are complaining about that one store. It's hard for them, they don't have nearby stores where there's a lot of vegetables in. So that were the ones that bring, it's hard for them to move around from place to place or go to another area, let's say Queens Boulevard. So we had to take that under note.
I'm going to tell you something, Lucy, and you're well aware of this. Many years ago at that location, there was a war bomb there, okay? There have been several other stores there too in the many years. And there have been continuous complaints about all of the stores that have been at that location as to the quality of what they are doing. Some of them have been fined. Some of them have been fined, and other stores maybe haven't. But I get the feeling that people have to remember something, right? While that's the most convenient store, and it is for seniors, you're right, because they don't get around as easily. It doesn't mean that store is gonna be perfect, because it's not by far. But there are other stores in the neighborhood. There's certainly a food bazaar on Junction Boulevard. I haven't heard anything mentioned about that. And there's also a great wall of China Market on 99th Street. I haven't heard anything mentioned about that. Those stores are equally on the premises and need to be considered then when there's a problem. Thank you. Let's move on. Excuse me? Well, that's on the other side of the highway, maybe a little far to walk. I don't, because Costco's over there too, and I mean, I could keep going on and on about stores. But you're right. There are other stores in the area, yes. I agree. Thank you. Let's move on. Environmental.
A couple of months ago, I had mentioned that on 111th Street, alternate side parking, I'm assuming environmental has to do with sanitation also, yes?
I
Well,
don't
we're in
know. I'm not so
sanitation.
sure about that. I'll have to look into that, to be honest. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
And they have the bike lane there now, right? And they have alternate side parking. But the cars are not at the curb. So now on Fridays, the cars have to move not only there, but on the other side. So now you have all these cars having to move on Fridays.
On both sides
on
Friday?
both sides. One on the park side, and then on the other side of the median.
Yes.
And if the cars are not at the curb, why do they have to move? The sweeper can go down the bike lane.
Well, he has to clean.
Yes, it can fit.
I was gonna say, can it?
It can fit.
I haven't seen a sweeper go down a bike lane in all fairness.
They can fit.
It can fit, but that's not the only place that needs to be cleaned. You would clean where the car is parked, more so than the bike lane, I would think.
It's at the curb. They're cleaning the curb. That's where the sweeper goes, at the curb.
Well, there's two curbs now, if you want to technically. There's the curb, the original curb, the new curb formed by the bike
There's no
island.
curb at where the bike lane is.
I have to look at that.
There's no curb. It's just a line. It's just a line.
All right, we'll have to look into that then.
Because it makes no sense to have cars move
I get your point.
if they're not at the curb. And all these cars now have to move. And there's no parking.
I thought that was a permanent bike lane that was set up on 111th Street though, on the park side. Doesn't that have like an island?
No.
Okay, I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, please.
Okay. But regarding changes on alternate side, I think there's gonna be a lot of regulation involving that. That could be a little more
Well,
difficult to do.
that's the main issue.
Yeah, that they're not cleaning, well, that they move and nothing gets done, no trucks come by, on the outside part.
What I'm saying is that why do the cars have to move if it's not at the curb? If the sweeper is sweeping the curb and the cars are not at the curb, the cars are now bike lane, no cars. Then you have the cars.
Okay, and there's nothing in between the two?
No.
No sidewalk, no,
No.
just some kind of markings on the road?
Yes, it's the bike lane.
With no obstructions, there's nothing there to stop you from moving into the bike lane?
Can you take a picture and email it to
I'll
me?
take a picture.
Yes,
I'll
please
take a
do.
picture and I'll, with the sign.
Okay,
So
good.
it's made clear.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question.
Environmental.
Under the cars too. I think I understand the reason for the cleaners are cleaning under the cars as well. Like people throw garbage everywhere
they don't
under
do
the
it.
car. And that's why, this is my understanding, this is what I've noticed.
But the sweeper's only gonna sweep the garbage underneath the cars.
Right, but they would have to have, the car lanes clear.
I'll take a picture.
Please do, thank you. Okay. Anything else for environmental?
Not environmental.
All right. Health. Know your process, right? Health.
No meeting, we did not have a quorum, but I would hope that we can keep the third Wednesday as our meeting time, our designated meeting time.
Okay, regarding the health committee. there are a couple of people who haven't been there for 3 meetings now, is that correct? 3 meetings, they haven't been to their committee meeting. I'm going to start a committee of people who don't attend their committee meetings and remove them because they're inactive and they're causing problems, once again, for the quorum, okay? So there's no need for them to be on a committee if they can't make it ever, because that's what it seems to be turning into. So those people are going to be removed. And they will get a warning letter soon. Okay, let's move on. Because it's not fair. You had 3 people come, I think so, right, at your meeting? 3?
They have never been a meeting.
Where?
The health committee have never had a meeting.
I'm talking about confirming attendance.
They have never had a meeting. The first meeting was canceled because there wasn't no quorum. The second meeting was canceled because wasn't no.
Oh, so the people have been calling in and not coming, and she's not having a meeting if she can't have a
Well,
quorum.
I got calls twice that the meeting was canceled.
All right.
Because they didn't have a quorum. And the third meeting, Christina called me, I was in Albany.
Okay. You had come already then?
No, I never came because they never had a meeting.
Okay.
Because all the meetings have been canceled
Yeah,
because of no
right.
quorum.
Yes.
Well, there was no quorum, so that's why you were told not to come.
Yes.
Yes,
But
that's
they're not
different.
talking about
So we're gonna get rid of those people who are causing you not to have a quorum, so you can have a meeting. All right, let's move on. Parks.
So I'm excited to announce we have our first event coming up April 7th. Francisco Moya stole a little bit of my thunder. He had a dog licensing, or a dog vaccination event, but I'm going to add to that with this event on April 7th from 10 to 2. That timing could change depending on the ASPCA and the other organizations involved. But we're also going to have dog licensing in addition to vaccination, so please come. It's going to be April 7th at Veterans Grove in Elmhurst.
Okay, thank you. Transportation. Well, I chaired my last transportation committee meeting in January. Linda Corral is now the new transportation chair. And at that last meeting, DOT was there to tell us about the big jump, it's called. What is that? More bike lanes. Oh, yes. That's what it is. It is shared bike lanes. Shared bike lanes that are supposed to connect the bike lanes on Queens Boulevard, which I'm still waiting to see more people using, connecting to Flushing Meadow Park. One of the places of the proposed shared bike lane is right in front of Left Rack City on 57th Avenue. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's a shared bike lane. What is that? It's markings on the street that let you know bikes might come through there. And this will be running by, don't forget, Left Rack 57th Avenue has express buses, local buses, several driveways where cars come out of, in and out of, people crossing the street, both at the corner and not at the corner. It's a very congested area to put anything shared or otherwise bike lane. But this is what they are proposing. Well, I guess you could start a petition against it if you really feel strongly about it. Yes. It is very dangerous for both the biker to be encouraged to think that, oh, well, they know I'm here. Well, a lot of people are not going to know they're here till they're there.
When I go to Queen Boulevard, I don't find very few people on the bike lane, but why they're wasting a lot of money there?
Only they can answer those questions, which you're not here to answer. Go ahead, Judy.
When I was in Japan in October, where there are a lot of, everybody rides a bike, and there are no bike lanes. There are no bike lanes, and people just ride on the sidewalk, and people just park. They have they have a little horn, they beep their horn, people just move out of the way. That's it. There's no bike lanes, nobody's riding in the street, everybody's riding the sidewalk, everybody gets along.
Okay. Rovina.
Okay?
Rovina.
As I mentioned at the meeting.
Quiet, please. Let her talk.
As I mentioned at the meeting, I have a lot of concerns about the bike lane. I don't know how many of you have just observed people riding their bikes. On Queens Boulevard, on any day that you're there, you'll see a maximum of maybe 3 people riding a bike, number one. Number two, between Junction Boulevard and 62nd Drive Avenue Road on Queens Boulevard, there's a big medical center because that entire block is 9525. The bike lane is there, the bus comes, it's down to one lane, and of course the people are getting out because one of the buildings is at 925, it's a medical building. People are getting in and out of cabs and car service and so forth. The bus cannot go in the bike lane. The bus cannot go in the bike lane. And of course, the cars can go in and out of the bike lanes, but now you've got to back up almost in the middle of the block to 62nd Drive or Avenue there, where the cars are at a standstill. You have the one lane, the one bike lane, and it's just a mess any day of the year. You know, New York City is not really a bike lane city. You want to do that? Charleston, South Carolina is one. Syracuse is one. Yeah, a lot of other places, but we have tried to turn New York City into a bike lane. Nobody, very few people in Queens ride a bike going to work. No one goes to work. I haven't seen them. And in addition to that, of course, Whoopi had some words with the mayor, you know, the other day. And here, there's a picture of a guy, he's riding a bike, and he's riding the bike the wrong way. Not only do they ride the bikes, not looking where they're going, they are on the cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst offenders are the delivery guys. They don't care which way they go. On 111th Street, the bike lane abruptly stops. It goes in at 47th Street Avenue, there's no bike lane. How many of you have seen on average day at least 25 people in a bike lane? No hands go up. And they, as Lou said, they attempted to tell us how many more bike lanes they're going to put in Queens. And 57th Avenue, and you clap, but 57th, and I'm a biker. 57th Avenue is not a place for a bike lane. But I can almost assure you, you're going to get up one morning and you're going to see there's going to be a bike lane.
Oh, yeah.
I have lots of problems with that.
Okay. Couple of things. At the Transportation Committee, DOT took the comments from the people on the committee about 57th Avenue and said they would go and take a look at that. So it's not a done deal, I think. I would say a couple of things. In New York, it's illegal to ride on the sidewalks, and that's because of the density of pedestrians, and there's a feeling it's not safe. We have sidewalks because pedestrians are not safe walking where the cars drive. The need for bike lanes is exactly the same thing. People on bikes are not safe riding where the cars drive. The bike community is not overly thrilled with bike lanes that are defined simply by drawn lines on the street, which a car can enter without any obstruction. But we recognize that those white painted lines on the street, in that they alert the automobile drivers to the fact that there is a probability they're going to see a bike there, makes it safer for the biker. Everyone in the city of New York jaywalks. No one coming out of a building in the middle of the block and wanting to cross the street with no cars on it is going to walk to the corner, cross, and walk back. Everybody jaywalks. Sidewalks are not considered a reward for not jaywalking, a reward to pedestrians for our legal activity. Same thing with bikes. People on bikes run red lights. People in cars run red lights. It's not a reward. It is an effort to keep people from getting killed. DOT in this big jump thing made a very, very strong, I think obvious effort to avoid getting rid of any parking at all. which was an issue whenever people put in bike lanes that remove parking. Everyone goes crazy about losing some parking spaces. So the design they have is maybe flawed. I made a couple of suggestions. Lou made some suggestions. Most of the people, everyone at the meeting, I think, made suggestions, which they're looking at. But the effort to put in bike lanes, which has clearly increased the number of people on bikes on Queens Boulevard, believe it or not, and I think DOT numbers will support that, is an effort to save people's lives. And that is all. I would add one other thing. While a lot of people in Queens don't ride their bikes to work, it is true that if you are an undocumented resident of New York at this point, you can't get a driver's license. There are a lot of people, I know some, who ride their bikes because they do not have any options, and in many cases because their bikes are part of their means of making a living. So, some people may ride the wrong way. Most people do not. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the other thing about the big jump, they mentioned some of the proposed bike lanes, but there's also one that will be on Corona Avenue, right here at this intersection where Corona comes into 108th Street here. Another very congested area for a bike to enter in any way at all. I mean, think whatever you want about it, but there's going to be problems. So, moving on, I will say that I was in Times Square recently, and I was crossing the street, and I saw the bike lane. And I kept walking, then I realized I had to stop, because in the Times Square area, the bike lane is elevated like a sidewalk, but there's no warning there to tell me that things are going to change without me having just to look down and see it. You could have easily tripped over what is like a sidewalk, because the bike lane is elevated to the height of the sidewalk, and there's no warning, no yellow line or nothing telling me, you know, watch your step, nothing. So I had a problem with that when I realized what that was. I said, and I have been told that eventually they would like to raise the bike lanes on Queens Boulevard, so that soon may be coming here in some future way as we look for.
They have more accidents if there is a bike lane, more accidents.
Whatever they're going to do.
And most of the people I have seen, most of the delivery people, they are driving a bike on the Queens Boulevard. I have never seen people, they are using the bike.
Okay.
It's not, why the government is wasting a lot of money? Nothing. We are paying a lot of taxes.
Yeah, we are. Go ahead, and then we're going to wrap this up.
I noticed on Queens Boulevard that when the traffic is backed up, that cars go down the bike lane to go further, you know, up close to the light, which I found that was very dangerous, because sometimes by that, by the side street, you have double parked cars there, and then the traffic is backed up, and then you have the cars going into the bike lane to go through. So,
Situation DOT will have to deal with. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lou, I have some stuff that I want to hand out from you. Can I do that?
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, guys.
Go ahead.
Okay, so really quickly, the youth committee met. We're working.
And we're on to youth now, so
Thank
go
you.
ahead. Yes.
We're working on trying to plan something for Autism Awareness Month in April. So if anyone has any particular interest or would be available to help out, please reach out to me so that we can hopefully do something for them for April Autism Awareness. Now I'm gonna hand out flyers right from that side. So these are 2 flyers. If you know any kids, they're paid internship programs from kids 16 and older and young adults. So if you know anybody that may be interested, please spread it. I know I heard today someone say that there's no jobs, but there are opportunities out there. We just have to inform each other. So please take a look and spread the word. Lastly, the Queens World Film Festival is officially beginning the 21st of March. That's their opening night. So if you can hand out some of these. Please check out their website. there's also some in the back. They have a lot of really great, interesting topics. Some are family friendly, some are a little soft, but please check them out if you're interested in things. I know I have certain interests in mental health issues, in LGBT issues, different things that I have interest in that they're having these little films. So please check it out, spread the word. I think that there's a lot that has gone into this and a lot of great conversations and awareness that can be had on several issues. So check out their website. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
ULURP is not here, so I will first of all thank everybody tonight for coming out in very bad weather and giving us our quorum that we needed to function. And now I need a motion to please adjourn.
I second.
Judy first, and second by Moya. All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you for coming. Have a great evening. And take all the chairs and put them to the back, please. Thank you.
Are you driving?